All right, so let's get into preparing this tri-tip. Now the tri-tip doesn't have a lot of flavor, so we are going to be salting this baby down, but first I do see some silver on there that I need to take off. It's not a lot on there, but you know, the silver on the tri-tip or on beef in general doesn't render anything. It doesn't break down, it doesn't dissolve. It's just there, you know, kind of like the moon. It's just there, you know. So I think what we're going to do is, or what I'm going to do is trim this baby up, get some of this silver off of here, and then throw some salt on it. All right, so the trimming has begun. And I fast forwarded because I did not want to bore you with the slaughter that occurred when I was trimming off the silver. It didn't look too pretty, but it worked out. There were some divots in it, kind of like when you're doing a brisket, you don't want to leave divots in it because the rub comes off because the juices kind of sit in there. So on this, I had a few divots, but now it's done and it's time to put it in the refrigerator. And the seasoning that we're going to use is by Serious Foodie. It's a Moroccan grill spice rub, and it has nice chunks, flakes that clings to the meat really well, and it has a sweet flavor, and it has no salt at all. So the salt on the tri-tip is going to be just fine because the rub that I'm using does not have salt. Just make sure you know your salts. You don't want to over salt the meat. All right, so 1 hour later, I take this baby out, and now it's time to put some good old rub on this thing. Look at those flakes. See how nice and big they are, and they cling to the meat really well. So this, I think this is gonna come out really, really well. All right, now it's time to put it on the smoker at 180 degrees. I love my Traeger. And if you're a Pit Boss person, hey, I love Pit Bosses too. It just so happened that Costco had a good deal on the Traegers, and so I bought one. And there's the meat, waving it goodbye, and I'm gonna let it sit for 2 hours before I wrap it in some non-waxed butcher paper. Remember, keyword, non-waxed butcher paper. And my trusty, you know, paper clips, they come in very handy. I love these things. I use them for potato chip bags. I use them for everything, you know, so it comes in perfect for clamping down the butcher paper to make sure it stays in place. I do have some, you know, butcher string, but I just didn't feel like going through all of the whole tying it up and all that stuff. It's much easier just doing it with the clamp. All right, I'm gonna let this baby sit for another 5.5 hours, and here we go. This is what I've been waiting for, and this is what you've been waiting for. All right, look at that. It's kind of firm, so if you squeeze your fingertips together and then you touch the palm like by your thumb and push on it, it's firm like that. It has a nice firmness. Look at the rub. It stayed on there really, really well. And look at the color, all of that smoke. Now the smoke that I used is a mesquite smoke. Now you see the color of it. You see how good the rub stayed on there, and now it's time to cut into this baby. Now I would consider this the tip, kind of like if you did a brisket, you know, the tips of the brisket, that's what this is. And look at that beautiful smoke ring on it. It's firm, but believe it or not, it is not tough. So I'm just going to keep cutting into this so that way I can give you guys a view of exactly how it looks on the inside. Nice smoke ring on it, nice texture. And you know what? I think I'm just going to tear a piece apart so that way we can make sure that it's not tough, you know, or rubbery or chewy. Like, it has a nice texture. Look at that. Comes apart real easy, and it's not dry. I'm not sure how good you guys can see it in the video, but this is not dry. It did not come out like jerky or anything like that. It is not dry at all. All right, just so you know. Not too sure how good you'll be able to see that. This tastes so good. The smoke and that sweetness from the rub. I'm still chewing on a piece right now. Yep, pull that baby apart. It is not tough at all. Now, I am not a pro at cutting tri-tip. I did a video on cooking brisket and I totally cut it the wrong direction, so forgive me if I didn't cut the tri-tip exactly as you would, but hey, I'm still learning. All right, look at that. moist, smoky, sweet, little bit of salt flavor. So now I'm getting to the bigger cuts of the tri-tip, and the moisture is even more. So it definitely held the moisture on the middle part. So it didn't dry it out. 7 hours of smoking this baby at 180 degrees. Beautiful. Came out just the way my wife likes it. She likes her steaks well done. And this is how it came out. Get yourself some serious foodie Moroccan grill rub and you will be very happy. It is no salt in it, so you get to add as much salt by yourself. All right, thanks for watching. Bye. Make sure you like and subscribe.